Hello, welcome to a new video on the main channel. I had nothing for you this week. I have officially exhausted all of my ideas. I had nothing on the docket, so we're going back to normal standard stuff. I am writing this week's blog post because I just have to get it done, and that's what I'm doing today. No special topic. Well, I guess we could turn this into a special topic in some way because it's been so long since the last blog writing video. I can talk about how things have changed a little bit. And it's not necessarily that my style of blog writing has changed. It's more so about, so I have two different ways of writing blog posts now. One of them is the way that's described in that old video where it's just an idea that I had and then I expound upon the idea and then I write it. But I have this new set of blogs or articles or posts or whatever the fuck you want to call it, I don't really care, that I have been writing called explainers. And the idea behind explainers is basically more of a learning tool than necessarily a blog writing tool, although I think they end up being pretty fun blogs. Like I'm pretty happy with the result on these, which is why I've been doing so many of them recently. How I do this is I start with ChatGPT, and I basically have a particular topic that I want to dive into. So for this one, it was topology. I hear a lot of smart people say stuff about topology, and I have no idea what that word means. I know it's related to math, but I have no idea beyond that what topology is. So we started with that. However, things, I don't want to say escalated. I also don't want to say deteriorated. They just change. They morph. Neutrally speaking, they change in such a way because I like to have specific applications, and sometimes they're really easy. Like when I did the Markov chains article, which was another explainer article, that one was like, I know that this is used in finance, so explain to me what a Markov chain is, which is specific enough that it was easy for the AI to just explain that, and then give me the practical, give me how it is used practically in finance, and that's what made that article. This one, topology ended up being something very, very generic and very, very general, which I guess now makes a lot of sense why people mention it a lot. And so I kind of went down the route and I was trying to find some specific thing I can talk about for this blog post because I needed something specific. It ended up changing to the point where I got a specific use case where at some point the ChatGPT mentioned something called a topological insulator, which is a real thing. It did not make this up. I don't know if they're theoretical or if they do. They should hopefully really exist because I wrote a whole article on one, assuming that it exists. But I was like, okay, what are topological insulators? And then it turned into more of an electronics or like electrical engineering post, where now we're trying to make a hard drive because I was like, okay, I understand what a topological insulator is, but how would you actually use this? And ChatGPT was like, oh, well, you can make a hard drive out of it. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's make a hard drive out of it. Tell me how to make a hard drive out of it. And that's what ended up being this article, was that we literally like made the material stack for this hard drive and then created a way of like how you would make it specifically in a factory, how much it would cost, which apparently is very expensive. That was the way that I did it. And then the way that I write the explainer is, well, you can probably tell just by the name explainer, I just write an explanation of that conversation with ChatGPT and what I learned in that process. So basically this article is called, and it's a little long of an article title, I'm going to have to change this at some point, making a new type of hard drive in order to learn electrical engineering. That could be shortened, but then I go into detail about my conversation with ChatGPT, how it taught me how hard drives work. And like I said, none of this had anything to do with topology, even though that was the original topic, but it's nice to be able to, just start with a topic and then divulge into something specific in some way that you can write an article about. I guess it would be really depressing if you couldn't find an article idea out of that whole conversation. But for this one, we did eventually get there. It just had nothing to do with the original topic. And I actually mentioned this chain of reasoning during the blog post itself. By the way, I guess just one thing I did want to mention here. I've been trying to make shorter videos for two reasons. One of them is because, most of this stuff is just me working anyway. And so I'm trying just to keep the segments. There's usually like one part of a working session that I record where I rant a bunch, and the last couple of videos have been just that ranting and nothing else. It's been that specific ranting section, and I just say, okay, that's good, and I cut it out. Because that saves me a bunch of time editing, and I also figure it saves you guys a bunch of time because you're just getting the core of what I'm talking about here. I don't know if that's a style of video that people like, if they enjoy that, or if they would rather me have the entire process. I don't want to have the entire thing uncut because that would be really boring. But to have more segments of me just working, if that's the preference, I don't know. If you're a person who writes comments for this channel, write your comment, giving your opinion, because there's only like 3 of you, so I will seriously consider your opinion, because there's not a lot of competition, okay? Alright, so this is probably going to be a much shorter video. Like I said, I didn't have anything super specific planned, nor do I have anything super specific planned in the future. I still definitely want to do a video on language learning and 3D modeling. Those are the only 2 like playlist topics that we have not covered at all yet. However, my go-to, if it's Wednesday and I really need to record a video before I edit it, is writing, because it's so easy. But in the future, hopefully next week, I'll try and aim for one of these, because we need to get, if we have a video for 3D modeling and a video for language learning, I believe we have covered the full playlist gamut of every playlist topic that I want to have on this channel. And then from there, we just go through them. I might also have more of a, like, go through them each, like, a more structured approach to this, because right now I'm just doing whatever I feel like. But I might do, like, this week is going to be art, and then the week afterwards is going to be music production. And the week afterwards, make it more structured like that. I don't know if I'm going to end up doing that, but we'll see. Anyway, I don't want to yap too much, because me in the future is going to get really mad because I have to edit this. I will just see you in the next video.